Good to see you, everyone. My name is Robbie Howell, and I'd like to go over my process for improvised world building. If you've never heard the term before, world building refers to the process by which an author or a game designer or any other manner of creative constructs a fictional or fantasy world for the purposes of their media. Now, you may be well familiar with world building content on YouTube. I myself consume quite a bit of it, but I go about the process quite differently. While others may be world building for a book or a traditional video game or similar, I came to world building from the perspective of a lava game designer. So what exactly is lava? Well, it is a narrative gameplay system that I developed well over a decade ago now that focuses on description, narration, and acting ability. Unlike a lot of other diceless systems, however, Lava does not go light on mechanics, and it strongly encourages its players and its hosts towards extreme levels of improvisation in how they approach gameplay. To this end, when I was designing lava game worlds, I would not really know what elements of them my players were going to interact with. To this end, I developed the 90-10 rule. I would only plan about 10% of a game world in advance, with the remaining 90% being largely improvised during gameplay. My world building style relies largely on leaving many loose threads in my design with the explicit intention that players will pluck at them and I can develop them naturally later through improvisation. I was hosting lava games for about 5 or 6 years before I came to the breakthrough of focus words. This would allow me to request a handful of words or short phrases from my players in advance, which I could then use as inspiration in elements of my design. Now, what focus words allowed me to do is they allowed me to design and improv off of that design much more quickly and efficiently. Reason being, it's a lot easier to do this sort of thing quickly when you have some form of baseline or grounding rather than when you're coming up with it whole cloth. To this end, I was able to craft fairly elaborate gameplay scenarios using a combination of the 90-10 rule and focus words in sometimes under 5 minutes, with the understanding that a lot of the specific details would then become more clear through improv later in gameplay. Now, in addition to these tools that I use when I am improv world building, I do have a handful of biases that I do want to make abundantly clear. First of all, coming from the perspective of a largely fantasy gameplay designer, I love including magic in my world building. There are a lot of elements of world building that I don't know enough about to confidently insert into my worlds that I often will use magic as a replacement for. Additionally, I am a big fan of playing with people's expectations, keeping them guessing in terms of the characters that I design and the plot elements that I introduce. Lastly, of course, I try to make sure that my worlds always prioritize interactivity. They are meant to be used for games, after all, and unlike something like a book, where you can meticulously craft and plan out everything that the audience will witness, I have no idea what elements of my world my players will most want to explore until I am in the moment with them exploring it. Now, while you are watching my world building content, there are a number of things that I love to have from you. First of all, if you have any contributions to my parameters, my topic, my focus words, other sort of interesting requests or limitations, this makes it a lot more interesting and collaborative for me, as I normally receive focus words from a handful of players rather than using a random word generator online. On top of that, if you'd like to take a crack at designing something on the spot down in the comments using the same parameters that I'm working with in a given video, I would be absolutely delighted to see what you can come up with and see where it differs from what I come up with in the video. That's one of the great things about improv world building, is that the same set of parameters can lead to dramatically different end products depending on what the free association leads you to and what sort of interests and preferences the designer has going into it. I very much hope that you enjoy the world building series going forwards. It's something that's very fun for me and I hope fun for you to watch. And until next time, my name is Robbie Howell, and ciao for now.